Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from Skaventide. Yes, we are here with our last Skaven video, and this is the Warplock Jezzails, of course. Massive thank you to Games Workshop for sending me this one earlier. As part of the Skaventide box, we are very nearly at the end of our coverage of Skaventide. There's only a couple of things left to go, but before we can get there, we need to get through these Jezzails. And they're very cool. Very, very cool. I like them a lot. I'm always a big fan of a Pavis and a big gun. Always love that. So we're going to be painting these guys up today. And they've all been primed in Grey Seer. Now, because we're effectively painting clanrats, you guys should already know mostly what's going to happen here. But as mentioned, they've all been primed in Grey Seer, and the colour we're going to be using first is Carroburg Crimson. And we're going to be kicking off nice and easily by applying this over top of all of their tails. And of course, if you've seen our clanrats video, you can use parts of that clanrats video to come up with some slightly different kind of color schemes for the skin and stuff if you wish, but we're just going to keep things nice and simple here for our Jezzails, kind of like we did on the Rattling Warp Blaster. But for now, I'm going to get this across all 6 tails, and then once that's done, we'll come back. With that Carroburg Crimson all applied, we're then going to take some Fyreslayer Flesh, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the hair and skin. With all that Fyreslayer Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Garaghak Sewer, and we're going to apply this over the top of the fur. So with all that Garaghak Sewer applied, we're then going to take some Flayed One Flesh, and we're going to gently dry brush this now over the top of the skin and the fur. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur, and we're going to apply this over the top of things like the talons and the claws, like so. We're also going to apply this over the teeth and the noses. Like that. However, what we're also going to do with the Gore-Grunta Fur is we're going to do 2 layers of this over the wood of the guns. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the eyeballs. And with that then done, we're going to take some Screaming Skull. And we're going to use this to pick out all the teeth. So with that all done, the skin section of our Jezzails is now finished. So what we can do is move on to all the clothes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking some Creed Camo. And we're going to apply this over the top of a couple of their kind of different sections of robe. So again, if you've seen the clanrats video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So for example, we're going to apply this all over the top of this individual's lower robe. Just like this sort of thing. I'm going to finish that before we move on. Like that, and we do have the kind of the top part just in here as well to do, but we're not going to add any Creed Camo to this individual. Instead what we're going to do is move on to our next one, which we're going to do with this one, and we're going to apply Creed Camo over the top of this one's top robe. So just need to look for a place for it to start. It looks like it's just the hood actually. So we're just going to apply this over the top of the hood. Like that. And then on this guy, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of the top robe on the rat at the front. Just to keep things fun and a little bit interesting, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Aeldari Emerald next. And we're going to apply this over top of two items of clothing. So we're going to apply this over this guy's top robe. And we'll pick another one on one of the other ones. And for our third colour, we're going to use some Poxwalker. And we're going to apply this over the top of 2 pieces of clothing. Across the unit. And for our final clothing option, we're going to take some Black Legion and we're going to apply this over top of, well, all of the remaining cloth. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Wyldwood. And we're going to apply this over top of all of the remaining wood. So there's obviously the shields, but we do have a little bit of it here and there in their backpacks. But we're also going to apply this over top of all of the leather straps and stuff on the Skaven themselves. So with all that Wyldwood applied, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over top of any remaining bits of leather. So we've got the occasional little kind of weapon wrap here. We've also got that rope on the shield that I was avoiding in the last clip. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Dark Angel's Green and we're going to apply this over top of all of the cables. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades to the model, because, well, we haven't done the metallics yet, but what we are going to do is we're going to take some Black Templar. We're going to apply this over the top of the shield. to give us a really nice dark, cold brown. So with that black Templar all applied, we're then going to take some Militarum Green. And we're going to apply this over the top of our Creed Camo. And if you want to, you can also apply this over the top of one of the Aeldari Emeralds. But we do actually have another shade upcoming, which we're going to be using over the top of the Aeldari Emerald. So you might want to hold fire on that. But it's up to you. Can create quite an interesting little colour, as you can see there, like that. And so with that then done, we're going to take some Biel-Tan Green. I'm going to use this to shade the other bit of Aeldari Emerald. But what we're also going to do is we're going to use the Biel-Tan Green to shade the Dark Angel's Green. Like that. So with that all done, it's now time to add our second dry brush because we can finish off this next section. So our second dry brush is going to be some Deepkin Flesh. And we're going to be dry brushing this over pretty much all of the remaining details. The only thing we're not going to be applying this over the top is that Gore-Grunta Fur wood there on the gun. We like that how it is. So we're going to be applying this dry brush of the Deepkin Flesh over the top of the shields and all the clothing, all the leather. Just like that sort of thing, really. So with that Deepkin Flesh dry brush applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to work on the metallics. So, the colour we're going to be using first for this is some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to be applying this over most of the metallics. So we're going to be looking for things like any of these blades and stuff they're carrying. We're going to be applying this over the top of most of the workings of the gun. Essentially the parts we're going to be avoiding are anything that has kind of like a drum thing. So like this backpack here, and this bit here, and this bit here. Basically anything rounded. And so with that then done, what we're going to do is going to take some thinned down Runelord brass. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades to all those metallics. Now the first of these is going to be some Gryph-Hound Orange. And we're going to be applying this over top of any of the kind of drum bits. Just like this. And with that Gryph-Hound Orange applied, we're then going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over just a couple of little details here and there, just to add a little bit of various visual interest. So we're just going to apply this, for example, over the top of this part of the drum back here. Like so. And we're also going to apply this over the top of this little cable. Like that. And we'll also apply this over the top of this. Like so. And so with that all done, we're then going to shade all of the metallics, including the ones we just did, with some Agrax Earthshade. And so with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Iron Breaker. We're going to dry brush this across all the silver, all of the, well, I guess it's now copper, and all of the brass. Basically, over the top of all of our metallics. So with that Iron Breaker dry brush applied, we're then going to take some Tesseract Glow. And we're going to apply this over the top of, well, basically gaps in the pipes. So anywhere where the kind of pipes have split. However, what you can also do, if you want to, you could do things like add a little bit of it in any kind of damage or seams on the canisters. Like that sort of thing. And finally, just to finish things off, we're going to take some Ork Flesh and we're going to apply this over top of the lenses. And so with our bases now complete in the same style as the rest of the Skaven, if you want to see how I did that, you can check out the Claw Lord, for example. I did it all in there. Our Jezzails are now all finished. And they were really fun. It's another clanrats based unit. So actually getting all the clanrats out of the way really equips you to deal things like the Jezzails and stuff really quickly. So it's great. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.